Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders podcast. MegaRan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geekenders.
Yo.
It's us, your friendly neighborhood geeks that end things.
The implication there is a little wild. Like,
what do you think? What does that evoke for you?
Well, Geekenders, it reminds me, I've always told this story because I feel like it perfectly encapsulates where I'm at. Back in the old WoW days, there was a guild called Satan's Killers. And I never knew whether they killed Satan or they killed for Satan.
Right.
Right. And I feel like Geekenders is the same way. Like, I don't know if we're here as geeks to end things.
Okay.
Or we end geeks.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I don't know what we're trying to, I don't know what our objective, what's our objective? What's our scam here? Why did we create this?
What multi-level marketing are we transitioning into? Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a conversation we should have. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, who's the enemy here? Like, we got to have an enemy. All good podcasts have an enemy.
Does that I feel like that happens naturally, though.
That's true. That's true. We got to, you can't force an enemy. You have to grow into it.
Because then you're like the monarch, you know? We don't want to be the monarch. We don't want to be like somebody where we're like, we're your ultimate enemy rival. And the other person's like, I don't even know who you are. Right?
Right.
It has to happen more like naturally.
Dr. Girlfriend. Yeah. We need to be like, oh, monarch, let's go do evil.
Where's our Dr. Girlfriend, dude?
She was great. I don't even see the problem. She just had a deep voice. That's smoking, baby.
She was great. She was best character.
She was great. Best. Oh, yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Oh, wait, are we drinking from delightful cups?
Receptacles?
Yours is actually...
You have a Scary Game Squad mug.
It's true. If you were on Patreon, you would have got one. But yours is delightful. Is that a mason jar of deliciousness?
Do you actually want to know what this is?
Yes, I'm asking.
So I have a glass collection problem.
Never mind. I don't care anymore.
It's too late. I gave you an out. I tried to imply that this was going to be an annoying story.
Here's the thing. You have a collection problem. Not just a glass collection. Hey, everyone. Hi. Many of you may not know this, but this is a true story. Before Dodger left to go to the UK to forsake her roots and her people, we threw a little going away party. And at that party, someone, no names, arrived with a box filled with mugs.
Yeah.
Like, well, I can't take these with me, so I guess I'll give them to all of you. Are you implying now that you have gotten rid of the mugs and now are all glass? Or do you now just have too many mugs and too much glass?
I mean, I only came here with 12 mugs, 2 of which broke on the way. And to be honest, I don't have much more than that because Sam has accidentally, and I'm going to put it in quotation marks, has accidentally broken a few of them. So
he's a good man. He's saving you from yourself.
No, the glass thing is like, if I get, pasta sauce or pickles or whatever, something that comes in a glass jar, there's a squirrely rat part of my brain that goes, I should keep this and put something in the glass, you know? So
my mother's the same way.
So I keep the glass, right? And we've been trying to be really brutal with the stuff in our house, and I acknowledge that I am the more pack ratty person. So I'm having to be more brutal.
When you say the word brutal?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
If I have kept one of these jars and it didn't get used to put fun things in, actually.
We take it out back and smash it.
It went into a box and went to glass recycling, yeah. So,
that's not brutal, that's responsible. I feel like when you say brutal, you mean responsible. Like, we're getting brutal out here by recycling. Like, that's what you're doing.
It's out of the house. Is what's important.
Okay.
Anyways, so
wait, is it only brutal to you because you really want to keep it?
Yeah.
And it's like brutal.
It's brutal for me and me exclusively. Right. So back to these cute jars. There is an instant coffee company out here that did a series of these where like you would buy the instant coffee and the glass that it came in was actually very pretty. So it was like, get it and then keep the jar sort of a thing. And so Sam was like, would you like to get those? We just like got rid of a bunch of jars. Would you like to get these because they'd actually be nice to drink out of and we can like keep them as actual drinking glasses? And I was like, that would be lovely. So it's an instant coffee jar. That's really pretty. And that's the story. Aren't you so glad you asked?
This is the exact same vibe as when Burger King used to give like glassware that had Ninja Turtles on it. People would collect those.
We have a mutual friend. Okay, I need to tell this story.
Please don't say,
I need to tell this story carefully.
Please don't say which friend because I want to guess. I want to guess this.
I will not confirm or deny this person.
Okay.
I used to have all of the limited edition glasses from when the Star Trek movie came out.
Okay, yeah.
And I loved them. And a person, no names, broke them, and I will
all of them?
I will hold it in my heart forever. Yeah. It was
all of them?
It was an accident. They were all in the same spot and they all got broke. And I still think about it. So yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Is this friend a streamer?
No. I'm not confirming or denying who this person is.
Okay. All right.
But you can tippy tap to me at some point if you have an idea.
Understood. I'm just gonna, for the sake of hilarity, I'm gonna blame Octo.
Okay, it was Octo. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it should be Octo, even though it's not. It should be Octo.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Octo burrowed up out of the ground of my old apartment. Took all of, because he has 8 arms, you know. Took a glass in each arm because he was very thirsty and then accidentally dropped them all.
Mm-hmm.
Typical.
Typical Octo. What I hate that in chat right now, there's about 8 million Octo gangs rise up.
Yeah. Do you want to know why? Because he used to come into my chat when channel points first started being a thing. He would come into my chat and use whatever number it was that would highlight a message. And so everybody associated the highlight a message channel point redemption with Octo, and it was 600 and something. So I changed it to 640 and made it his own channel point redemption. And now it is one of the most used channel point redemptions on my channel. So
I must stress to everyone watching the VOD, the entire chat right now, there is not a word of text being spoken. It is it's gray and it just says every username with Octo Gang Rise Up. That's it. It's been going on for quite some time. And I must stress, it is alarming. It is a little crazy.
Just a little?
A little. I mean, like, it's Octo, so it's not like full crazy. It's like it's a little crazy. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Oh boy.
If I asked you, can you do the Chad chin? Would you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. No, I can't do it because all I can visualize is that I think it's like a Japanese girl. There's like some girl who does like the Chad chin. Yeah, I can't do it.
I can't either. And it's driving me crazy. How does she make her chin like 8 sizes bigger?
I feel like it's a jaw thing that I don't have. I have a weird when I was a kid, I got braces.
Right.
And they have to do that thing where they like put your like mouth in goo, which by the way always made me almost want to puke. It was terrible.
Right.
You have to they put like the mold and they put like way too much of that goo in there.
Yeah.
That gets like outlines your teeth so they can do. Anyway, every time they'd be like, move your jaw. Your jaw's too forward. You got to move it back. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, move it. Because apparently I can like do this like I'm some sort of ogre or wolf man. Right? But I guess my lower jaw is too forward. And they'd literally try to push it back up. Like, we got to align it. I was like, this is my face.
Right.
I'm not doing it on purpose. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. I feel like this bit does not move well. So
I was watching a video where somebody who had like a pretty drastic overbite, like the top part, like did that. They had like metal bars put in to like extend their jaw. I was like, oh my God.
I've also seen the thing where it's like you have no chin.
Sounds painful is all.
And then they like give you a chin. Have you seen that? That's crazy.
No chin and they give you a chin. That's got to be a way more intensive process.
Like no chin and then you like have a chin suddenly. It's crazy. I don't know how that works. What do you put in there? What are they putting in there?
Sometimes
do you have a metal? Are you like?
Yeah, sometimes like these procedures will get explained and they'll be like, yeah, they put they cut open like way back here and that way there's no scarring. And I'm like, then how do they slither up into your mouth? I'll never understand. I don't know. I don't get it.
Heart surgery now is like, okay, so we're going to operate on your heart by going through your leg. I'm like, this is the craziest shit I've ever heard. Because you got them big old veins in your leg, right? The arteries. They go in through the leg and then they go like up the artery into the heart. And it's like, that's how we're doing this. I'm like, that's crazy. It's like, we don't have to cut your chest. I'm like, that technology, man.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
It's pretty amazing.
Whatever can make medical procedures of any kind less painful, easier. Yeah. All of that is great. Because I don't understand it doesn't mean anything negative.
The future version of all this, what we're gonna do, like 10 more years. What's that gonna like? Where are we gonna be? I watched a man today suture a piece of corn, not like a corn on the cob, like a little tiny kernel, and he was like, "This is what we can do with our new technology." And I'm like, "This is."
Is this like adjacent to the guy that did surgery on a grape?
Pretty much. It's roughly, I think it's really just surgeons showing off more than anything else. I feel like, watch this. I can do this. Yeah. Once we understand that we can do that stuff, it's just a hop, skip, a little tiny baby leap away to me having Jack's arms.
So true.
I'm going to go to the doctor and be like, rip these off. Give me Jack's arms. I want to punch through walls.
This one,
I want to rip
pop
skulls.
off. This one, pop off, pop in.
Yeah.
And then we're good.
Just put Jack's arms on. Yeah. That's what I want. That's the future I'm here for. I'll be like breaking down walls. Oh, and I got to get a Deus Ex arm where it goes like, it spins around so I can snap necks real quick.
Right. I feel like both.
Because I imagine I'll need that.
I feel like you and Sam, if given the opportunity, would cyborg real quick.
Oh my God, yes. Are you kidding me? Ooh, I would also do that thing where my legs come together and a wheel pops out and I spin around. I like go down the street.
That sounds amazing.
You know?
A built-in Healy? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, my legs go doot, 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 and they become like a little, and then one wheel pops out and I can spin. I can go down the street. Yeah, that's what I want.
Damn. I have to hold out hope that, much like in Cyberpunk, with the advent of more like Cybertronics, that magic would also come back to the Earth, right? And I'd get something out of this because I'm not becoming a robot, dude. So what do I get? You know?
Hold up. Hold up.
What?
You are aware that magic did not exist on the Earth, right?
But in the world of Cyberpunk,
magic has come back.
Magic
to the Earth.
has come back.
Right. Mm-hmm,
yes, and I need to be one of the magic. I need to be wielding magic in this world of eyeball lasers.
Right.
Okay.
No, I get it.
I am thinking
of
Shadowrun. You're correct. You are absolutely correct.
What you want is you in like a long black duster trench coat.
Yeah.
With Adam Jensen cyberware where like sunglasses come out. And you've got like RGB lighting all over you for some reason. And as you walk down the cyberpunk rainy streets of Nuevo Angeles.
Yes.
Right? And it's like ding a ding dong ding. And there's like angry music, and you're just like walking on the street, and you're like, it's a dark world, but I've brought the magic back. And you're like, yeah! And out of your hand, roses appear, and then you're like, whoa! And then a cloth appears, and you're like do a thing.
Yeah. And then I turn to a really surly looking character, and I go, pick a card. Yeah. You absolutely. That's
I like
it.
that.
We did it. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. I brought magic back to this world. Yeah. Blade Runner 2099. It's just you doing street magic.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Street magic Shadowrun.
Frankly, I like it.
I like it too. If I ever get asked to join another
whimsy.
Shadowrun game in my life, that's gonna be it. That's the one. That's the character. It's built. It's done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Word is that you have questions for me.
One of them was, can you do the Chad Chin? The other one,
I thought you meant something important.
No.
I thought you meant you had real questions for me.
That
about
was a
real
question
things.
for you. And your answer was no.
I'm so glad we really covered the hard-hitting topics here in this show.
I can give you another one. Would you like another hard-hitting question?
I would love another.
How do you feel about Mountain Zoo?
We should give some context. Yesterday was the live letter for Final Fantasy XIV, and at the end of the live letter, they announced that Final Fantasy XIV is doing a collaboration with Mountain Dew, and the collaboration is insane to the point where I'm almost positive you can hear the devs laughing to themselves in the background when they showed the big screen that was like Mountain Dew. And one of the reward point things that you can, I guess you have to go to stores, buy 20 ounces of Mountain Dew, and underneath certain caps are codes. And you take those codes and you go to a website and you put in the codes, and after a certain amount of Mountain Dew, you can get things. And if you're in the Final Fantasy XIV verse, you've seen on the Reddit, on Twitter, everywhere, people with trunks filled with 20 ounces of Mountain Dew. Because apparently, normal Mountain Dew is only 100 points. But if you get special varieties, like one's only available at Walmart, one is only at like the dollar store, I don't know.
Oh my God.
They give you 200 points. And the things you can get with this are things like, keyboards or streaming stuff or shirts and all sorts of stuff. But one of the in-game items is called Mountain Zoo. It's a mount.
It's a mount.
And
it's a green mount.
It's a zoo from the Final Fantasy lore, but it's green. It looks like Baja Blast, kinda, and it's called Mountain Zoo. And the best part about the stream was, I'm not sure if it was FoxClon or Yoshi P. Someone said that it was like a really bad dad joke, but they liked it. And I was like, that is so fun. And they're like, oh yeah, Mountain Dew was popular here in Japan for a while, but that was decades ago. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah. So it's North America only, apparently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot of people have been like, curse you Americans.
So I was going through it during that moment because not only do I want the Mountain Zoo, but also they have a shirt available. And I don't know if you've ever been to a convention or ever seen anything. You don't even have to like Final Fantasy at conventions. They have, Square Enix Final Fantasy booths. And usually what you can do is wait in a line and go play one of the big fights from the game, right? And it usually says like, I beat Shiva or I beat Garuda or, like that kind of thing. They have a shirt for this that says, it literally is a like clip art hand holding a clip art Mountain Dew with the Final Fantasy like fiery world logo in the background. And it just says, I drank Dew. And I've never wanted anything so badly in my entire life. It is so goofy. God. I'm like, I must have this shirt. Here's the problem. In order to get that shirt's 4,000 points.
Why?
Which means I don't know. Which means I would need to either go out and find 20 of the ultra rare types of Mountain Dew or 40 bottles of normal Mountain Dew. And I was prepared and ready to do this. I was talking with chat and I was like, yo, I want this so badly. This shirt is so goofy. I gotta have this. I was like, I'm gonna go out and make everyone in this office drink Mountain Dew for like a month. I'm gonna be like, guys, we're only drinking Mountain Dew. Water's gone. Just go out and buy
Mountain Dew only.
Only Mountain Dew. I'm getting this because, like, I'm trying to watch my ladylike figure. I can't be drinking Mountain Dew all the time.
Sure.
Not there's anything wrong with that Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew, it's liquid. So then I was like, I want it so badly. I want this shirt. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
As I went to go end my stream, after I fake hyped up Mountain Dew forever, trying to get them to just give me a shirt.
Right.
I was like, Mountain Dew is amazing. What ended up happening is I go to raid people and I was like, well, I'll just raid someone else who's streaming Final Fantasy XIV. I notice there's several streamers who have a brand deal with Mountain Dew and they have access to free codes. And I've never felt so outraged. I spent like 10 minutes ranting. I was like, PepsiCo, you trash. You trash. I was so mad. I was like, they didn't contact me. This body was built by Dew. What are you saying? I was like, I was very upset. So
I can tell.
For those asking, no, I have not gone out and bought Mountain Dew, and I may not buy Mountain Dew. However, I will accept codes to get a Mountain Dew because I do think that's very cute.
There's a guy who has started making different types of meads out of soda, and the very first one that he did. I
know this dude. Yes.
The very first one he did was Mountain Dew. So maybe you could just get a shit ton of Mountain Dew and do some like weird experiments with it. People don't have to be sitting around drinking it all day.
I feel like, and maybe this is just like a Jesse thing, but I feel like this is most people. There's a part of your life, and I feel like maybe the devs are correct on this. Maybe I'm very much like Japan, and that 20 years ago, I loved Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew was the jam.
Dude, yeah.
These days, I may actively try to avoid Mountain Dew. I'm like, of all the choices of beverage, I would not choose that. So
last time that I had Mountain Dew, I had 2 sips. It was like, no. No.
I don't want to call anyone out, but during the stream, up in the corner, Aimee, who is the translator, they all pull out bottles of Mountain Dew and they open it and they're like, ooh, Mountain Dew. She's the only one who took a sip. And the look on her face is hilarious. She like double takes and she's like,
oh my gosh.
So,
oh no.
It is what it is. Mountain Dew's always been that way. It'd be like if you made me try Jolt Cola right now. Shout out to Jolt. I don't know what happened to them, but I would be like, right? It's just like too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
I remember when
I still want that damn zoo though. I'm getting that.
I mean, I'm sure plenty of people have zero interest in this and would send you codes.
But there's something about getting it yourself, like you earned it.
Sure. You did just say, if we could rewind the tape, you did just say, I will be accepting codes from other people.
Dodger, I'm just a man. An innocent
just
man.
A normal man.
I am a multitude. All right? I have many thoughts, and not all of them coincide. Sometimes I'm conflicted. Life is conflicting. It isn't simple. So it isn't black and white, you know?
Absolutely.
Like sometimes you just have to accept that we are more than the sum of our parts. Like I'll be more than Jack's arms. You'll be more than mere puppetry and I guess dove tricks. We can be something special in this world.
Yeah. And
just because I say I don't want Mountain Dew and I haven't had Mountain Dew in like years doesn't mean I don't want a Mountain Zoo, okay?
Okay.
Let me have this.
I'm just trying to make it clear.
We're just men.
Just normal men.
Just normal men.
Oh my goodness. How have you been? How have you been this week?
Good. Just busting butt, trying to do different things here around the office. I decided I wanted to do something a little different with the crew. So I was like, hey, guys, on Mondays, start pitching me your ideas. Like, if you have any fun video ideas you want to do, start pitching me. And they took it very seriously and approached me with an idea. And I was like, that sounds good. Roll with it. If you're in charge, you can show run the whole thing. It's your idea. Let's make this happen. And I'm really curious to watch them take a leadership role because I cannot wait to see next Monday. I get to sit here and be like, proceed. So I'm very excited. So there may be a video here in the future. The thing is they I think enjoyed working on the adult video a lot. And so now they want to do a little more like more deep diving into a subject. And I'm like, cool. All right.
Sure.
Take me away. So we'll see. I don't know. It could be fun.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It could also be terrible. I have no clue. We'll find out. We'll find out real soon, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I feel like this is kind of right up your alley. I also played Cryptmaster.
I have been playing that for days. How do you feel? Tell me everything.
Love it. It's cute. It's incredibly fun.
Very fun.
The best way I could describe it is having played it a little bit yesterday. It's like Mavis Beacon meets heavy metal. I
feel like that's a little misleading because that's how it was pitched to me. Because it's not purely a typing game, is it? It's a lot of goddamn riddles. So many riddles in that game.
But the riddles are fun in a way where it's like, so a great example of
they're really fun.
A basic riddle is you find a treasure chest, and the treasure chest is like, what is inside of here? You're like, I don't know, recall. And he's like, I remember using this to scratch my butthole. And you're like, okay, touch. And he's like, it's extra sharp. And you're like, okay. And at the top, you see a series of possible letters, like you're trying to guess in Wheel of Fortune. And you're just like, metal tongue? He's like, it's metal tongue. That's correct. And then the metal tongue is a weapon for like Grungo, your minion. And he's like, Grungo. And then the letters come down. And you have to figure out what his attack is. And if you're smart, you know that one of the attacks in the game, I'm going to give you all this one for free, is just called crabs. And
it is. That's true.
She just goes, crabs! And crabs fall from the sky. And it's awesome. Or my one dude who goes, Sahooth. That guy's great too. It's an amazing game. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's super fun. The framework, the concept of it is that you are playing as 4 undead who have been brought back by the Cryptmaster, who's like a necromancer. He needs you to get his soul stone to the surface. And when you accept this mission, he's like, and now we are bound together for eternity, which hilariously, as you continue to play, you get the vibe that he really regrets that because these 4 dummies, like they're truly like zombies at the start. And And like Jesse was saying, there's like this Wheel of Fortune element to it where you're trying to reveal things for the 4 characters. Sometimes they are keywords for a memory, and sometimes they're abilities that you can then use. There are accessibility options here. If you're like, I hate typing games, I wish I was better at typing games. You can play it in real time, or you can play it turn-based, which is every letter that you type ticks time forward. So the enemy will just sit there like waiting for you to figure out what you're typing. But there's also a voice command option where you don't type anything. You just say stuff. I haven't tried that out, but apparently that works really well. No, I like those ones. I like opening up the chest and him going, "What is this? It's looking at me quite strangely." I like those.
Oh, you mean the Zodiac Killer ones that are literally like cryptogram, or like, you know.
Yeah, you like walk up to like a bunch of like a skull on a bunch of stones, and he's like, "I was old once, but now I am young. If I was red, you could see my tongue. What am I?" And I'm like, "I don't know." There are so many of those in the game. They drive me crazy.
Have you tried kissing things? Because I've discovered kiss is your most valuable asset.
Yeah.
I've destroyed more things with the phrase kiss than anything. Kiss works great.
I haven't tried kissing anything. No.
You should.
I did
You
pee
should.
on an altar, and that made it explode. So
I kissed the altar and it exploded. See?
nice. Look at us.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
She warned me not to. She said, "Don't kiss." And I was like, "I'm kissing.
Oh, I will.
Oh, I'm kissing. I'm zombie kissing everything." Yeah.
Yeah, that game has been a lot of fun. Way more fun than I expected it to be. I had the topic set as Mountain Zoo this entire time. So
Chat let you know, and you just ignored it. You
that's
said,
because I was
no.
excited to talk about the game.
Well, you can't change it now.
I'm going to.
Now it's too late. The moment's over.
No, it's on there. So Cryptmaster is a great game. Real fun. You know what else I played?
Oh boy, yeah. Here we go.
Animalwell. Have you heard of Animalwell?
I have heard of Animalwell. 2 things.
Yes.
1, fascinating game. Absolutely. What a deep dive. The most Jesse game there ever was when it comes to the back end. 2, I am god awful at it, and there's no way in hell I will ever stream that for anyone because I know the backseating will be so high.
For Animalwell?
Oh yeah.
I didn't really have a whole lot of problems with that. I did find that I got an ending for Animalwell. I think if you like Metroidvanias, but they tend to be a little long for you, this is a really accessible length of Metroidvania. It only takes a few hours to get an end. But it does end in a way where it's really obvious there's way more to do.
Right.
It immediately is like, and here's a weird thing. You're done with the game. Good job. Here's the credits. But also, what's that? Kind of a thing. Which I think is sometimes hard for games to remind you or entice you to continue playing, even though technically you like beat it in quotation marks,
Sure.
Yeah, aesthetically super cool. Really, really cool vibe of game. Warning for anybody who's thinking about playing this game, there is some weird body horror animal stuff going on in this game. Everything will be cute and normal, and then it is not. Nothing, I would say nothing violent, nothing that feels like gory or violent, just like animals moving or shaped in unsettling ways. So be aware.
It's again, it's a very Jesse game. I love how weird it is. I think there's a lot going on there. First off, Pirate Software has been playing it like crazy, deep diving all the like things. I also saw, I think it was Someone was today posted like if you shake the screen, the world inside moves if you minimize it. I was like, that's very cute.
That's really cool.
And I love that kind of stuff. But my question about all of it is, one of the things I've noticed about games that have real deep dive, like if you play it a bunch of times or you mess with the game, or you do all this, as you know, I'm a big Daniel Mullins fan, and Dan does all these crazy things with his games. And a thing that I've noticed is most people who play games will get caught up in the hype of a game like this, play it once, and be like, yeah, okay, and move on. I wonder what the amount of people that actually do the deep dives, what that translates to. Because it is very clear with Animalwell, the whole point is that this is a more than one playthrough game.
Right.
You are supposed to like dissect this game. And that's where it like really shines. And I wonder what that translates to. And I've always thought about this too with Elden Ring, for example. Elden Ring, how many people played Elden Ring and then surely there are many people who keep playing it and keep playing it and keep playing it because there's so much to find and see and do. But how many people played it once, stopped, moved on, versus how many people keep doing it?
Sure.
And I wonder where those numbers are, because it definitely would make a lot of sense as to why, you know, people make the games they do the way they do. Like why there's so many games that are just like, you beat it, you're done. Versus games that get real, like let's get weird. Let's like deep dive and let's look at things and let's explore stuff. I don't know.
There's a game that I think about that with all the time. And I'm going to say this game and you're going to laugh. But I was talking about sort of a similar thing the other day about Hatoful Boyfriend.
Sure.
The bird dating game. I think about that all the time with that game, because that was truly a game where it was like, it's a funny game where you date birds. But the longer you play it, you're like, is it a funny game where you date birds? Is it? And I think a lot of people probably played it and were like, I dated the two cutest birds, and I'm done now. I sure did date a bird, you know, and don't know what that game is actually about. I think that probably happens a lot. Yeah.
The worst part is I want to talk about it.
Sure.
So badly, but I also don't want to spoil it. Monster Road Trip. Hey, hi. This is a game that I'm the producer of, and I'm going to hype it up because F it. Dodger's in it. So like, what the hell? But in Monster Road Trip, so in Monster Prom, it's just a game where you date the monsters, whatever, right? But one of the endings is literally very messed up. And it was hidden in there because we wanted to do something messed up. In Monster Road Trip, we went like even further, where there is a literal ending for a character. Like an ending, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone because I would love for you to go out and play it, but there is straight up just like I would say give Polly a shot. There is literally an ending, and it's hidden in there, and it changes the way you see the game. It changes the way you like. It is bonkers. I would love to know the stats on that, because it exists for people who are playing it multiple times, who are deep diving, who want to like get real weird with it. I love stuff like that. I love when things get strange and bizarre and like make you uncomfortable. And I would love to know what the percentage is of people who do that, because these are some of my favorite things in games where it's more than a book. It's more than a movie. It's this interactive thing where now you have spent so much time with us. We're going to take you on a different kind of experience. And I love that in games. And so I'm very curious, one, how many games out there actually have that hidden in it? And two, how do people find those things? And then three, how do people actually do them?
Right. But again, there's a balance there in terms of like how you design the game, right? Is it a game with replayability? And if it's a game where you typically wouldn't necessarily see a reason to replay it, is there something about the way that it ends that says to you as a player, like, maybe I should look into this more, right? Or maybe I should restart it, or I will say, sorry.
The most brilliant one you and I did, I to this day I think about it, the end of the letter.
Yeah.
We played that game perfectly. We saved every one of those kids. And at the end, it was like, you fools. And I was like, whoa! That was such a good way to be like, you didn't do it right. In fact, this is a bad ending.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, that's so smart. So I don't know.
Yeah, having things not be as obvious, I guess, is a good element, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I wasn't even mad about us as players being kind of, I guess, punished might be the right word. Punished for like trying to play the game, right? To be like, all right, we need to save each of these guys. We got to do things to make sure that they're all alive, right? And having it end that way, like punishing you as the player in a way for just trying to do things perfectly, and having it be like the way that you played the game perfectly isn't the way that the story would need to go.
Right.
Was a really interesting way to be like, oh, well, now I don't know what to do. Now I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, you know?
And I like when games do that and make you say, wait, what was I supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
What did you want from me?
Yeah.
Because then you can like get really in there, and like a great example is Daniel Mullins released a demo that is literally you're just a attorney trying to get people convicted. It's a very simple card game, and it's maybe 4 trials. They're very simple, but at the end there's a twist. And then I went back to the game like, can I beat this twist? Right?
Right.
And I'm not going to say what happened, but I was like, well, I have to know now. I got to play it again. And I love those things. So I'm down for that. But again, it all comes down to, is there a hook to get you to care enough, or do you have the time to care enough? A game that's 100 hours, if there's a twist, not many people are going to go back and be like, well, I got to figure out what. Most people will be like, all right, that's the ending I got.
Yeah. For me, a lot of times a really long game like that. Yeah. I'm like, we also, live in the time period that we do and are able to say, I am really curious to know what the other ending is, but I don't think I'm going to commit the time to do it for myself, right? Some people will, but the option is typically there to go and watch all of the endings somehow, or, whatever. So.
Oh man. So this past week I played, I feel bad because I'm going to try not to spoil this.
Okay.
But I want to make sure I also get the name absolutely correct. Tales from Candleforth is the name of the game.
Okay.
It is a point and click, very, very similar to Rusty Lake in its aesthetic and vibe.
Okay.
So I was immediately drawn to it, very excited. The intro is fantastic. Here's the thing. There is... I don't want to spoil stuff. There is a through line to this story. So basically the plot is you're a young girl and your grandmother has been taken or gone missing or vanished in the middle of the night. Okay. The intro you play as the grandmother, so it's very weird and bizarre. And your mom, something happened to your mom. Maybe she's dead. You don't know. And the plot is you trying to complete this ritual your grandmother was doing because you're like a witch, right? And so throughout the thing, you find these... There's not quilts, not tapestries. When you sew on the little round thing, you know.
Like a doily?
Not like a doily. Like you're sewing, and you it's like little,
like
little
a
round,
like
and you're
embroidery hoop.
Sure, yes, embroidery. Thank you. When you're sewing,
Sure, when you sew.
Yeah.
Like this. When you sew like this.
Yeah. That's for the people watching. There's these hidden things you can find. And so I was going deep. I was discovering things. I was doing crazy puzzle solving. I was in deep. And there is very clearly another story here, like something deeper. And I got to the end. I did the end. And I was like, okay, all right. There's something else going on here. So I go back in and there is very clearly something going on. I might have spent, I don't even know how long at the end of the stream. I rebeat it like 3 times. I did all these different things. I tried different stuff, nothing. So then I was like, F it. Went on YouTube, which by the way, YouTube a great source for like alt endings and things.
Yeah.
I go on there, type it in. Everyone's like 100% of the game. I'm like, okay, this person must have it. Nothing. I don't think there is anything. I think they just created an alt story and then didn't deliver. And I was so upset. I was so upset. I was just like, what?
Do you, so what, like, because I don't think either of us feel like you have to get answers in a game. But like, what about the way that it did it made you feel like there must be answers?
Okay, sure.
And if there's no way to talk about that without spoiling things, then that's fine. But
so there are hints that, so at the end there's like this red string is like this hint through the game. There's this red string, and at the end there's red string connecting you and your grandmother, right?
Okay.
And hanging above the red string is a pair of scissors. But the scissors are covered in red string. You can't click them. You can't touch them. Maybe it's just aesthetic, right? And in my mind, I was like, okay, surely I could cut this red string.
Right.
And before that scene takes place, in one of the hidden rooms with one of the information about like what the story is, are a pair of scissors just sitting there. And I was like, well, surely I could get those scissors. And then that would unlock the string scissors at the end.
Right.
But that does not happen. That's not accessible. Okay. So then there's a whole bunch of like things at the end where you hear noises, and I'm like, oh, maybe if I hit the right thing or do the right thing, that noise is the scissors falling over and I can pick the scissors up. Because the scissors are embedded in like stone. I'm like, oh, maybe I like the things are there.
Right.
To make that action take place, but it doesn't happen. So it wasn't like, oh, there must be another way. It was like, you've given me visual clues that surely something here can cut the red string or end the red string. Because up until this point, it's like the red string's bad. I'm like, okay, surely I could figure this out. Nothing. And that's what upset me, because it's like, you gave me the hints. You gave me the clues. It's mixed signals. It's always upsetting. So
okay,
that's where I was with that.
I got you. Yeah.
It's an incredibly fun game, but the ending, I've never been so frustrated with an ending where I was like, you can't tell me that I found all the secrets and then not deliver on what the secrets are about. You can't do that to me.
Right.
So, yeah, while I loved the game itself, the ending, I was like, I hate this ending. I hate it.
Boo.
No. Mm-hmm. So.
But you recommend it, despite the frustration.
I recommend I recommend it like I would recommend Final Fantasy VIII. It's 3/4 a great game.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll leave it at that for Final Fantasy VIII. No, we will not talk about the last disc of that game.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've talked about Final Fantasy on Geekenders a lot, I'm realizing.
You know what? It's who I am.
I know.
Sorry, kids.
It's baked into you.
If
there was a Jesse Cox cookie recipe, Final Fantasy would be on the box.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's very true. I would say like a good example of subversive gameplay is like Dave the Diver is fun. Like that's a game that is, I'm diving for fish. Fish is good. Yeah. Guess I'll make sushi. And it is not that. And I'll leave it at that. But like that's where I'm at. I like games like that. I like games that get me a little weird. Oh, and by the way, Sucker for Love 2, Date to Die For, is a game where you seduce an elder god, much like the first game.
Right.
But in that one, there is
I hear this one is less horny.
This one, you play as an ace character, so you actively aren't like into it.
Right.
But the deity who you're like romancing is literally like, I want to have kids. I want to bang. Like, please. Like, that's the vibe. So you're just like, nah, I'm all right. Which is like really funny. But in the game, there is one room. It's your brother's room. and you can never click on it. When you touch it, it's like it's a weird purple glow, but nothing back there. And the entire time we're losing our mind trying to figure this damn thing out. It does not happen. I think now I've figured it out though. So at the very end of the game, if you do like all the true endings, at the very end of the game, there is a moment where it's like, there's one final thing you can do. And I'm pretty sure it's associated with that. Of course, we did not do that because on Scary Game Squad, our good boy Davis was so horned up that he was like, no, I'm all right. I just wanna get with this goddess, so like I don't care. And Davis, we did not do that. So I'm pretty sure it's related to that. So while throughout the entire thing, I was, again, this comes down to YouTube. Right. I went to YouTube and I was like, well, I have to know. So I went to YouTube and I looked stuff up and I found there's like another thing. And I don't want to spoil it, but I was like, okay, I'm satisfied. But
you wish you had taken the time to do it while you were playing.
I really do. Yeah. I wish we had done it because the ending seems much more like what than the ending we got, which is like just horny Davis.
The horny Davis ending.
How
often would you say you get the horny Davis ending?
Not enough, baby.
I haven't watched a Scary Game Squad in a hot minute.
This might be your time.
What would you say out of the last like few games that you've played? What do you think has been like a really good playthrough?
You're making me remember the last games we played.
Yeah. Like what game? A game where you ended it and you felt really like satisfied with how you guys played it.
I would say the thing to watch is the first 5 minutes of That's Not My Neighbor.
Oh, okay.
Exactly the first 5 minutes. That I've never laughed so hard in my entire life. That and Mortuary Assistant, because I feel like the thing that I understand now is if you put me in Mortuary Assistant, I'm not scared of the monsters. I'm like, I have a job to do.
Right.
They're telling me I have to get these 3 bodies ready tonight. I don't have time for you demons. I have stuff to do. So I'm like, head down, get to work. Let's like that. Also, I have a lot of questions about like how real that is. Are they just draining my blood into the sewer? How's that work?
No idea.
That one, that's fun. Or if you want to get like real simple, we did a game that's like a typing game. I'm trying to think of what it's called. It's hopefully someone knows.
Cryptmaster.
Home Safety Hotline. That one was fun too.
I've never even heard of that game.
Literally, you just are at a computer and people call you and they're like, yeah, there's this weird mold growing, and like it progressively gets weirder and weirder and weirder. And it's like, yeah, this monster is in my basement, and you're like, oh, it's gnomes. Don't worry about it. Like it's real weird.
Have you guys played Pools?
Hi. Literally behind me on that TV is Pools. And I'm waiting for those boys to show up today because I definitely want to play that with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see what you'll think about Pools.
Have you played it?
No, I've watched other people play it.
Here's my question. So I downloaded the demo because I saw reviews online that said the first hour of the game is awesome, but it loses its scary factor very quickly. And so I was like, well, I want to have a scary game. I don't want a game where we play it for 4 hours and we're just like not scared.
Right.
So one of the things I've learned, spoilers for content creation. One of the things I've learned, y'all don't like watching long videos. Like you'll watch one video on one subject.
Depends on what it is.
Let me rephrase. Long series. If I upload a video that's 3 parts, by part 3 y'all have checked out, but part 1 is great. So I'm adjusting to cramming as much as I can into one video and just deal with it. Because at this point, it very much seems like the return on, we're going to spend 3 weeks on like 6 episodes. This thing
Right.
is just not. It doesn't work. So
pools, I would say, is definitely going to be a one video thing.
That's my thoughts. That's why I got the demo. I figured like that would be fine.
And I think it's less scary and more like uncomfortable, progressively uncomfortable.
There are 2 people that will be playing that have thalassophobia, so it'll be very scary for us.
Yeah. I mean, not great. I wish you didn't have that, but you know.
I played. It was sponsored, so that's why I did it. But I played Sea of Thieves, and I sat there in the water, just like, "You're getting paid, Jesse. You're getting paid, Jesse. You're getting paid." Like that's where I was. They were people. I played with fans, which is awesome. Thank you to people. I played with people in chat. It was so good. Everyone was great. I played twice, and every time they were sweethearts. And I cannot express how thankful I am that I have like adults instead of people who normally people would be like, you get on chat and you don't know what they're about to say.
Right.
Everyone was chill. And we did the whole thing. We got into water and they're like, come on, you got to jump in. We got to go to this boat that's flipped upside down and steal the treasure. I'm like, okay. And like, oh, sharks are here. And I'm like, cool. So cool.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize is that there's the like harpoon can hook people too. And every time they hook me, it makes what I hear in my head is the exact same sound of a chomp as being eaten by a shark. And every time the footage is me going, you son of a bitch. Like this every time. Every time my eyes go wide. Oh my God.
After you did that sponsored stream, 2 separate people were like, oh my gosh, you and Jesse should play Sea of Thieves together. And I was like, yeah, that would be super fun. But back in here, I was going, I'm surprised that Jesse wanted to play Sea of Thieves, given the water content.
I feel like they actively tried to save me from a lot of it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they also tried to set me up for like, we found a megalodon, like, let's fight this guy. I'm like, yeah, let's fight him. We saw a kraken destroy another ship, and I was like, we should definitely not go over there. So there's a lot, there's a lot of things, but it's super fun. I think the difference is I had people who knew what they were doing versus like, we're pirates and we just are gonna sail. I feel like you and I would die so much.
Yeah.
And when I was with them, they're like, all right, so this is the plan. We're going to go in here. We're going to get these treasure chests. We're going to take the treasures. We're going to put them here. And then someone on the ship is going to hook shot the treasures back on the ship. And we're going to like, I was like, this is so smart. You guys are geniuses. This is so cool. We had all the cannons were always loaded. We had extra things so you could like, I was like, man, this is cool as shit. So when you're with pirates that know what's up,
right?
I loved that. I loved that. And that's what
There's a big difference.
When we play any game that is I'm trying to think of the game that we played where it was you, me, Crendor, and Sam. And it was very clear Sam had played the game multiple times. And I was like, we need a leader. We got it. It's the one where we were YouTubers.
Oh, yes. Content warning.
Yeah, content warning.
Yes.
Sam clearly knew what was up. And I was like, yes, okay. I need a leader. And I mean this. I think World of Warcraft changed me mentally because
I need a raid leader in every game.
I was in a guild for 15 years and our guild leader was just the biggest ass that ever lived. But in like I'm the guild leader way.
Right. And
after a while, especially if you're a healer, you just mentally click into following orders. So even in Final Fantasy 14, when doing a harder content thing, people are like, okay, Jesse, this is what you need to do. I'm like, okay. And they're like, can you understand that? I'm like, no, I got it. You told me to do this and this and this. I got it. And I get it. I would be a very good grunt is what I'm saying. You tell me what to do. I'm like, okay, I do.
I'm in. Got it.
No thoughts, only do. Yeah. No.
That makes sense.
I don't know. I just like, it's very simple. I'm like, okay, do this. I'm like, yep, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
the stress is gone, right? Or at least some of the stress is gone because you're just doing what you were asked to do, right? So if it goes wrong, not your fault. You're just doing your best with the information you were given. And, You don't have to think too much. It's nice sometimes to have somebody be like, we're going to go over here and do this thing. Great.
I'm very much Forrest Gump in Vietnam coded. Where Lieutenant Dan's like, Gump, get in that hole. And he's like, okay. And he just jumps like, that's me. I have the exact same vibe, bro. I'm like, Jess, you go do this. I'm like, all right, you must know what's best.
Right.
Mind you, that's only in video games. In real life, I was like, why would I do that?
Do you,
what's the point behind that?
Do you play any other MMOs right now? It's just 14,
no.
right?
Mm-hmm. I have determined that I'm not like a big MMO player, mostly because most of them require time commitment that's through the roof.
Yeah.
And 14 might be one of the few that don't. Where it's like, oh, you want to leave for 6 months? Okay. It's like, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll give them shots. I'll try them out. But most of the time, they have weird, please keep playing and giving us money mechanics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I would rather just go play a goofy single-player game for like 8 hours than move on.
I feel like we're out, I guess, for a while now. I might have never, had a figure on the pulse of an MMO, but I feel like for a while now we've been out of the MMOs coming out all the time sort of boom, right?
I think as a genre, it probably has, done its run its course. Yeah, I was talking about this, man, I think it was with Crendor, or someone was talking about the weird cycle of MMOs and different online gaming, where there was this time earlier where it was everything had to be kind of like a Quake or a Counter-Strike for a while. And then everything had this sort of World of Warcraft, like when World of Warcraft came out, it changed MMORPGs. Yeah. And then everyone was like, we got to make our own World of Warcraft. And for a good 5 years, like every year there were 5 or 6 MMORPGs. And it was wild. And then you had the period where it was like the team-based squad
all the
shooter
MOBA
thing.
stuff started to boom after MMOs, I feel like.
League of Legends, right? League of Legends was this thing, and then everything became like, oh, there's lanes. And there was League of Legends and Dota and Heroes of New Earth and like all sorts of different
Smite
things.
and all that.
And then that translated into first-person versions of the exact same thing, right? Like Overwatch and all. It's literally just they took You're Looking from the Top and then did this to it. Like that's all. It's the exact same vibe. And then,
but I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's sort of like first-person shooters and things like that. Have always been popular, but I think have become, since Overwatch, have become more of an accessible, sort of like genre,
And then after that, there was Fortnite, and Fortnite was the kind of like, hey, it's, a PvP giant, like, survive to the last battle royale thing. And it's weird because in all of them, which I think is so funny, they're all kind of like the second one. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Because Fortnite's the biggest battle royale, but it's not the battle royale that got huge first. Yeah.
Yeah. And Overwatch wasn't like the biggest team-based, like I would say that probably is Team Fortress. And then WoW wasn't that was clearly EverQuest, but WoW came along and changed that. And so like it's the second iteration of like, we saw what you did, we love that, we're gonna make it better.
Which I guess makes sense, right? Like you have the opportunity to say, okay, I see what works about this game, but what doesn't work? Can we add quality of life to our version?
League is literally just Dota 2, right? Like there's like, and then they made a Dota 2. They're like, oh damn, we got to make a Dota 2. And it's interesting to me to see how those iterations then spawn off dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of other games.
Yeah.
But the problem is those other games, I don't think they understand what makes that second version good. Right? Like they going back to MMORPGs, they produce so many of them. And none of them really captured what WoW had, because they all were trying to be another WoW and a different variety without capturing the essence of what made WoW good.
Either they're trying to be just like WoW, which makes people go, I'll just play WoW.
You just play WoW, yeah.
Or they try to say, right, but we're going to do something really different. And then it's too different from the thing that everybody likes and understands how to play. And they go, but I'm missing my X, Y's, and Z's.
Sure.
So.
And the games that are successful, the ones that do stick around, are games like Guild Wars 2 and Final Fantasy 14 that were like, we see WoW, we're just gonna tweak X, Y, and Z about it. So it's roughly the same experience, but for 14, for example, it's like it's story heavy. It's about the story. Sometimes there's moments where you don't fight a damn thing. You're just like, I'm in a story.
Oh my God.
Guild Wars is like, we're gonna end up right in the middle, where we're going to do all the story, but it's as you're moving through the world, as you're fighting things, people are just talking at you. And that, like, they pull things, and then they both said, we understand that we aren't going to compete with that juggernaut, so we're going to let you leave whenever you want, which turns out people love.
Yeah.
And that pulls away from the original, pulls away from WoW. People are like, you telling me I don't have to grind out rep for 18 different things to see a story piece? Like, and they move on. And so, I think that's also why, for example, the Heroes of the Storm wasn't as successful, because they were like, we're gonna make League, but with Warcraft characters and stuff, but make it no different. Like, there was nothing special
it was
about
the same game.
That made it stand out. Yeah. And so I don't like. It's interesting to see those, and it's also interesting to see what fades away. Like RTS games. We'll get like one a year, maybe two. They used to be everywhere.
That's so true.
And now no one's buying them. Or if they are buying them, they aren't talking about them. So Homeworld just came out, and I see ads everywhere. I saw Crendor play for a little bit, but I don't know anyone else who's like, damn, Homeworld 3, I'm so hyped. Like, I'm into it. I like it, but there's no crazy discussion online.
Yeah. I've always enjoyed, I think we've both said this before on different occasions, but I've always enjoyed watching people who are really good at those games play those games, but they are not the game type that I would choose for myself to play,
Sure.
Like, I'm not going to go play rugby, but I'll watch people play rugby. That's fun.
Yeah, for me, the esports side of an RTS game, for example, is super interesting to watch. But you're right, I don't want to play it. And it's not because I don't think it's exciting. It's because I think the meta for what it is bullshit and trash, and I hate it. Like, here's a great example.
Okay.
You give me a game, let's take StarCraft, for instance. You give me a game where they're like, you can make giant spaceships and have space battles. But the meta for competitive is the first 5 minutes determines everything, and you send wave after wave of little tiny dudes until maybe you win.
Right.
And if you play online competitively, you're getting Zerg rushed. That's the thing. And I'm like, all I want to do is make some goddamn spaceships, and I got to watch this ass be like, Zerglings. I hate that. It ruins the fun of what it is.
Yeah.
And so I would never play it. I'd be like, if you want to make a thing where we build awesome, cool ships, cool. I don't want to do the rushing. I want to make a giant, like, walker that zaps people with lasers. Like, that's cool. That's fun. You're like, all right, the basic unit you get at the very beginning of the game, that's your ticket to winning. And I'm like, find people who play casually. Hey, let me tell you about the MMO world. At a certain point, all the casuals leave because the tryhards absolutely ruin the community. Every time. Without fail. Because they're unbearable pieces of shit. I love you, but you suck. You're just like, the meta I've created is inconsistent with the, like, stop, dude. Stop.
I don't play a lot of RTSs, as I just established, but do they typically not have like a fleshed out single player mode?
Most do, and the single player's fine, unless it's StarCraft 2, in which case I don't know what the hell that story was. But the single player's fine, and you can do that. You can have a good time playing those, and then move on. But a lot of the time, and this is why I think it's kind of like a dead genre at the moment, is that a lot of it is the exact same thing. You start with barely building anything. The story picks up. You're building something a little cooler, something a little cooler, something a little cooler. You have access to everything, and then it ends. And it's like, okay, fun. But it isn't a long experience. And if you want to get the most out of the experience, it's like play online with people, do things online with people. And like most things, somewhere someone was like, here's the optimal build order for how you do this, or here's how you do it. And it kind of like kills the vibe. And instead of just having fun and doing, I don't know, I've never, like the last time I played an RTS online that I loved was I think literally the year 2000 with StarCraft Brood War, whatever that was called. And I remember playing that, and we would play, but I didn't play the competitive. I played like I played Dota or whatever they called it, the defensive engines that was in that one. I played the one where you would like, you know, like tower defense, and I do that kind of thing, and that shit was awesome.
Right.
That was great. But you know, I don't know. I'm almost positive I'm be told how completely wrong I am. It's my opinion. It's
I was going to say, this is just from our perspective as people that have never been high level RTS players.
But I mean,
yeah, it's an intimidating genre of game, which I think is why it's hard to get new players into it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the same thing with fighting games. Fighting games are awesome to watch. Like I could watch pro level fighting players all day, every day. I think they're amazingly talented. The minute you ask me to learn a damn thing of what like footsies and iframes and like counters, and I don't have enough space up here for all that. I got other shit to do. And
yeah,
trying to learn it is too much. I'm like, me brain don't work this good. Like I can't do it.
Sam will sit on stream and off stream just practicing the same combo for what feels to me like hours. And I'm like, number one, surely your thummies hurt, dude. And number two, how's your brain? How's your brain doing? Because mine, I would be ready to crawl into a hole and do something else.
I mean, I've watched him do streams where he is completely silent, just fighting a boss.
Sam?
And the boss is kicking his ass. And he's just like, and the chat is losing their mind. Like, oh, they're like so hype. And he's just quietly throwing himself at a wall.
Yeah.
And I got to let you know, I would be raging so hard. I would have quit after like 4 losses. Like, you know what? I don't even care. This game's trash. This is stupid. It's just how I'm built. I like cannot. I love, so everyone online, I guess, by the way, hi.
Hi.
I'm an old internet man. I don't keep up with the kids. But I believe, if I say this correctly, Kai Cenat, I think that's his name, was doing Elden Ring. And I guess he just beat Melania? No, not the former president.
Yeah.
You know what? He beat Melania.
Yep.
That's right. And while I guess he did it after like 30 hours and was like, it was crazy and everyone was hype as shit and losing their mind. But in the I guess someone posted a thing that was like, yo, here's a video clip of it. And all the comments were, dude didn't use any help. He didn't summon anyone. That's how you do it. That's the real. I'm gonna let y'all know. I cheesed the shit out of that fight, and I don't care what anyone says.
And you should.
There is no like.
If that's
there is no.
Like, come on.
Yeah, there's no. Oh well, I did it the correct way. Like, no. I took 2-3 losses and was like, nah.
We're just
time to move on.
Too old to be policing how people play single player games, dude. Like, just fucking do it how it's gonna be fun for you, and then sit down. You know?
No. I think it's hilarious that everyone's like, you did it the right way. In my mind, I'm like, 30 hours for one boss. Like that, I could do anything. I'll be dead one day. That's 30 hours of my life I'll never get back. Meanwhile, I then realized, I think you had like 260,000 people watching. So like, go off, dude.
Yeah,
get your money.
Crazy.
So part of me is like, no, actually, I very much understand. So whatever.
When I was playing Another Crab's Treasure, there were by the latter part of the game, there were so many monsters that I was like, I'm gonna just kill this guy through the wall because it lets me, and I didn't want to deal with it. I was like, the guy's there, I can see his little claw clipping through the wall, and I'm gonna attack it, and he's dead now, and now I don't have to look him in the eyes and deal with that bullshit, like. The game let me, so it's valid.
There's over on our dear friend Alex, Brett, and Ted's YouTube channel for the Beard Bros. They invited me on to do that terrible King Kong game that came out. And
what's it called? I didn't even know there was a King Kong
Rise
game.
of Kong or something like that.
Okay.
It's bad. It's bad. Like bad. And I went over and I was like, sure, guys, I'll play. It'll be fun. So they gave me the controller. Terrible decision. And as we're playing the game, I mean this, it's truly terrible. Like one of the worst games I've ever played. But as I'm playing it, I realize how bad it is and how insane the mechanics are that I just decide to, as you play through the level, I avoid every enemy. I jump over enemies. I don't fight them. It gives you no experience to fight them. You get nothing from it. They're just in your way.
Right.
So I just kept running, jumping over them, ignoring them.
If there's no benefit to fighting them, then just run.
Yeah. Then when I get to some enemies where you have to fight them, I jump up high on a cliff and just toss rocks at them until they die. I don't even engage. And like in boss fights, once I figure out one way to win, I'm like, this is how I'll do it. And like, this fight's going to take 40 minutes. So I was like, and I'll never have to play this again. Let us continue. Like, that's how I play games. I'm here to win, and I don't care how I do it, which says probably a lot about me as a person, but I just don't care. I'm like, I'm going to beat this.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
No, but, again, I feel like a lot of people think if you do it a certain way, you're now part of like, you've been there. We're a band of brothers. We suffered together. Right. And I'm over here like, I don't want to suffer. I want to play a game and be like, that was fun. I like that.
Jesse, you know how I know that we've just known each other for too goddamn long? I just suddenly had a deja vu flash to like 10 years ago. You, me, and John on what was probably the Game Station podcast at that point. And us talking about RPG fights and you being like, I will grind as hard as I need to make sure those boss fights are easy.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't have the patience. I don't mind having a boss fight that takes a while. And you were like, no, absolutely not.
No, I want to go in with like Ultima 4. And the boss is like, I am Gorgoth, destroyer of worlds. And I'm like, Ultima 4, bitch. And he's like, no. And then I move on. I'm like, yeah, that was cool. Back to the story.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Honestly, that makes sense because RPGs already take too goddamn long. Might as well just fight a bunch of grunts and then have a boss fight not take that long. Because when boss fights take forever and you're doing them over and over and over again, you're like, I guess I could backtrack and fight some guys again. You just feel like you want to die. So,
I mean, like, going back to Elden Ring, it's a perfect example for me of what I love and don't love in video games. That game, I could look at the world. I could read the weird, like messed up item descriptions. I could like piece together what's going on. I'll jump around. I'll look at cool stuff. I'll be like, yo, what is the deal with the Erd Tree? Like, are they trying to tell me that it burnt down before? And like, what is the, like, I'm doing that whole thing where I'm in it.
Yeah. Because you're a loreman.
And then, yeah. And I'm like, looking at the beautiful, they crafted this beautiful world. And then there's these weird ass enemies. And I'm like, cool. You stick me with a boss. I'm like, wow, this boss looks amazing. After 3 deaths, I'm like, F this dude, F his family. I don't like being here. I don't want to do this. This guy sucks. And I'm already out. And then I'll kill him and be like, I don't want to play anymore today. Like, there's a switch that flips where I'm like, I don't even want to do this no more. This guy is stupid. I hate this game. Yeah. And then the next day I'll be like, okay, yeah, all right.
I'll try it again. 2 things. Number 1, people were mentioning like, but what if the boss fight's fun? For me, if a boss fight has a bunch of RNG in it, which a lot of JRPGs did, that's not fun. If I keep dying and I know it's because like the boss just happened to get a high number and I'm just happening to get low number, that shit pisses me off so much. Fights like in like From Software games, for example, since you were just talking about Elden Ring, where it's like, learn the pattern, figure out how this boss moves around, and you will get it. I love that shit. That's like personal growth shit, right? Like that's fun for me. But also number 2, I agree that that grinding in general, I think, is slowly being phased out as like a necessity in a lot of games. And again, I would like to plug a game that I love that is not too long and is like in the JRPG style, but does not make you do any grinding. And all of the unlocks and upgrades are linked into the story and whether or not that character should learn a new thing and grow as a person. Small Saga, again, the game where everybody's a rodent. Fucking, it's such a good game. That is such a fantastic game. I still think about that game all the time, and I highly recommend it.
I see your Small Saga, and I counter with Cat Quest 1, 2, and upcoming 3. I unabashedly love Cat Quest.
We've played those together before, yeah.
I love Cat Quest, and it is also one of those games where if you read the lore, you're like, is this very cutesy game actually the darkest game I've ever played in my entire life? It is. The lore is dark, dude. So yeah, I noticed a comment. I want to go back to it because it relates to League of Legends and Here's the Storm about like the differences. So a thing that I realized, and this I think goes back to what we were just talking about, is so the reason why I think Here's the Storm didn't do as well is Here's the Storm was like, hey, we see League of Legends, but we're cutting out all the leveling bullshit you have to do at the beginning. And I feel like here, League of Legends hits a sweet spot where for the first, 10 minutes of a match, you don't necessarily need to be good. You can run around, fight little dudes, stay in your lane, like kind of hide, do your little things, kill guys. It takes forever to get going. But for that moment, you feel like maybe you'll actually win. And in Heroes, sometimes in the first 2 minutes, you're like, well, we suck. And I feel like maybe that illusion of like, I'm grinding and I'm doing a thing and I'm going to go get weapons and I'm putting stuff on. That addition makes it feel like maybe, just maybe, you're good at the game.
Right.
When really you're me and you're like, I guess I'll just play that one character that shoots a bunch and doesn't really have any abilities because I don't want to learn nothing.
Somebody said you're going to be in the jungle. I want to be in the jungle.
Yeah.
What if I run around in the jungle? What do I do in here? What is this job exactly? Somebody's yelling at me. What are they yelling at me about? Am I not supposed to be in the jungle? Yeah.
I see in chat, Here's the Storm failed because Blizzard blew too much on esports. I feel like that's the case across the board at Blizzard. It wasn't just Here's the Storm. I feel like Blizzard across the board was like, esports is our thing.
Right.
And it was, in fact, not. They got all hyped up on their own supply with StarCraft. And even StarCraft is slowly dying. So, like, that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
That's poor management on that point.
Yeah, for sure. They need if they're gonna stick around and have like a new golden age of Blizzard or whatever, they really need a creativity injection. Like
the thing is that the only creative thing they have coming down the pipeline right now. So Overwatch is like, I don't know anyone new who's going to Overwatch. Like, yeah, like if you're in, you're in. But that is a slowly dying game. It'll take years and years and years. It'll be fine though. It's slowly dying.
Right.
StarCraft is kind of like the people who are in, same thing, right? And then Hearthstone, same vibe. Like people are in it, but it's a dying game. And the only thing they really have like blowing up right now is Warcraft. Except Warcraft is just people coming back to Warcraft.
Right.
Who I think are under the illusion they're going to get what they finally want because Metzen was like, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And Metzen can sell anything to anyone. That man is a master salesman. He got me hype. And then I went on like Wowhead or MMO Champion, I don't remember which, and I saw more information. I was like, nah, I don't even
Never
like
mind.
This is stupid. Yeah. But the thing that's interesting is their selling point is, we want you to return because we're going to tell the greatest World of Warcraft story across 3 expansions. And in my mind, I'm like, that's pretty, I like the idea. I like they're doing this. I like they're finally coming back. They're going to give us a real story. They might, like, all the retcons they've done. It's very clearly inspired by like what happened towards the end of Final Fantasy XIV's life cycle, where it's like, there's an ending, bro. The problem is they're asking me to put my faith in them for 3 expansions. That is too much. That's too much of an ask. It's too much. Like, I don't trust you to get the first one right. So you got to nail the first one in order to get me to even consider coming back for the second one and then sticking around for the third one. That's like 6 years of my life you're asking me to give. No, I'm all right. Like,
yeah,
I'll see what happens online. I don't know. It's definitely one of those things where, as a company, they're not going to lose money.
Sure.
Right? Like they're making plenty of money. They're fine. But in the market space of ideas and of the focus of players, they're slowly falling out of fashion. Mm. They need something new and creative. And they need, like you said, they need like an injection of really great creativity. And right now,
something different. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just not there. So we'll see. But this isn't like Blizzard as a company is dead. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there's so many other things pulling people's attention that you aren't seeing, like, yo, I forgot to mention Diablo. Like, it didn't even come to me till right now. I'm not talking about it. No one's talking about it. People, like, so no one cares about Diablo.
I forgot that Diablo is a thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's because there's so much else out there.
Mm.
Like, there aren't kids using Diablo slang. Like, people make fun of, like, kids are using Fortnite slang. Like, where are we dropping? Like, hey, spoilers. That's because it's pop culture. Yeah. It's what Minecraft was 10 years ago. It's in there. Blizzard doesn't have a share of that right now. There's nothing going on there unless it's in the porn community, in which case, keep at it, Overwatch. They love you over there. But, like, there's nothing else happening. And so you got to get back in the zeitgeist, and it's just taken up by everyone else. So,
yeah, we shall see. I guess it's hard to predict what's going to wind up happening over there.
As a fan of all those franchises, watching them kind of fall off is sad.
I'm sure. But, yeah, I mean, your entire online thing at the beginning was Blizzard stuff. Yeah.
But with that said, my pre-online thing was Final Fantasy. When I was in like high school and college, I played Final Fantasy like crazy. I even played Final Fantasy XI, which was an MMO at the time that was not great, but I love that stuff. And it wasn't until that like weird 9-year stretch they did only Final Fantasy 13 that I was like, nah, bro, I'm out. So look, I can come back to things. If Blizzard comes along and is like, yo, this is our new game. It's called Jesse. Please play us. I'd be like, yo, this is my shit. Let's go. I'm fine with that. Right? Like, it's okay. I just want to play something fun and good. But, yeah, I don't like being played for a sucker when it's like, Ubisoft lately is just like, hey, here's a Star Wars game or here's an Assassin's Creed game. Buy the $130 version. And I'm like, God, yeah. Yo, no, stop it.
Someone said, when are they going to do Arcane, but for Blizzard? And I feel like that wouldn't go well. I feel like it would wind up being, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it would wind up being like the DC versus Marvel movies, you know?
Sure. I mean, I feel like Blizzard had their chance with Overwatch, with Warcraft, and they made the Warcraft movie, but instead of doing like, my name is Lord Tywin, and I am going on an adventure with my dwarf friend Gringle, and oh, we meet an orc, and it's like just the three of them on a short adventure, and that's the movie. They were like, let us do the exact same thing the Avatar movie did and retell the first game in one movie. Right. You absolutely can't do that. Yeah. Like, it's an impossibility, and they so tried. And they had Overwatch. Overwatch, people were like, please, we want something, anything.
They kept putting out the shorts, and everyone was like, I would watch a whole show of this. I would watch a movie of this. Like, they fumbled the bag, dude.
It was right there. Yeah, it was right there. I don't know why they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Blizzard fans have been asking the cinematics teams for years to make Blizzard, to any Blizzard content, because the cinematics are always good.
They're amazing.
They're always good. And people are like, please make something. And the things we did get are series like, we got a Dota TV series. We got like a bunch of like.
Did we?
Oh yeah, you saying "did we" explains that it was lost on Netflix.
Dota
we got also
TV show.
I think there was was there a Dragon's Dogma one?
Oh
like,
my
god,
bunch of right. Oh my god, right.
Like
we watched one episode of that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's like all this stuff, but the things that people are clamoring for good content, and if anything, we have seen lately. The proof that like Arcane was amazing, and Arcane's biggest problem is that it made you want to play the game, and then you realize, oh, I have to play.
Oh fuck! I don't actually want to play League.
Yeah. Yeah, but it made you want to be in that world. I think the Fallout show is the best thing Fallout could ever have done. People want to go back and be in that world. Good. It's such a good show. Castlevania, awesome. Made you want to be like, yo, I gotta get more in with Alucard. That guy's awesome. Like, Cyberpunk reinvigorated, like, Edge Runners reinvigorated that game.
Oh my God. So many people that never played the game, the second Edge Runners came out, were like, I gotta play this fucking game. Like, that's what they need.
Smart. Yeah, they were like, yo, we released the game, and also here's a major update. So all those people that went to play it didn't have that day one experience. Right. They had, like, the good experience. And they loved it. And there's so many ways to do that. And then you think about like all the terrible stuff we've gotten. And I don't want to call anyone out. But there's much terrible content out there when it comes to Hollywood versions of gaming. And it seems like there is a plan now. Like, I'm pretty sure, and I think it's safe to say, don't just try to make it here's the game, we're going to make it a movie version of the game.
Right.
Just make it a dude in the world, and then go tell people to go play the game if they want to know more. It's so simple. It is literally how it's done.
I mean, this is another topic that we've talked about before on the podcast, so I'm very sorry, viewers. But I feel like that's kind of what you were talking about when we mentioned Andor, right? That's the name of the Star Wars show
Yeah.
Like how one of the reasons that Andor wound up being so successful is that it didn't revolve around, Jedi and all this. It was just set in the world because the Star Wars world is a setting that can be utilized in ways that are more creative than that, right? And you would think with so many years of developing what World of Warcraft and Warcraft in general is, that you could tell a really interesting story in that setting.
I think the thing that a lot of people who are showrunnery types dealing with World of Warcraft miss is that the experience of WoW is not like, man, I need to know the legend of Thrall. Like, that's not it. WoW is my character, Dorfus, is my character, and he's experiencing this world, and I want to see the world through Dorfus's eyes. And so if you're making a movie or a show, you make it about, again, Fallout nailed it.
I was just about to say, which is exactly what Fallout did. It showed kind of a couple of different ways that players tend to play Fallout. Yeah.
And it's great because literally the first 5 minutes is a character creation. It's absolutely hilarious where she's like, this is me, this is who I am. And I'm like, this is so good. It absolutely summarizes exactly everything about the game or about the show is like, we're going to give you the experience of Fallout, but we're not going to hammer you home like, oh no, this is what the story of, New Vegas was or whatever, right? They're not doing that. And at the same time, they're throwing in lines where Walton Goggins is basically like, side quest and is the main quest. Like, and so if you're a fan, you're like, I see what you're doing. That's good storytelling in a video game setting. There's NPCs in there. There's goofy interactions. Some episodes you like come across a guy like, what's this guy doing?
Mm-hmm.
It translates what that is perfectly.
Yes. The D&D movie is another one where watching the D&D movie, you're like, this is just as hectic and stupid as an actual D&D campaign is.
Yes. Everything in that movie, even, and I know it was memed online, but even the musical bar where his face droops.
Yes.
That is such a D&D moment where you're absolutely failing your roles.
Yep.
It is perfect.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of things we need if you're going to translate kind of nerdy content.
Yeah.
Things that exist and properties that people have experienced for decades. Don't give us so this story is based off the source book that we stop that. Cut that shit out. That's not what people want to see because no matter what, you're going to ruin it.
Yeah.
You're not going to translate a 40-hour game into a great movie.
There's just no way.
No.
You can't translate the experience of being a character, experiencing the story in a video game and turn that into a movie and have it feel even remotely the same. And if you don't want it to feel the same, then why are you telling the same goddamn story? Do a different thing.
I mean, it feels so simple to me. And I guess I don't understand why it isn't done more because I'm just like, that's so easy to hit. It doesn't seem difficult to figure it out. I'm no movie writer, but surely you could just create a bunch of, actually, never mind. I get it. Most of the interviews are, I've never played the game or I'm not experienced with that title.
Yeah.
And they just go read a summary and make some bullshit up. Instead of, if you played the game, you would know it's not about what you just read online. It's the same thing as when I was a teacher.
Yeah.
And a kid would have to do a book report. And the book report would always just end up being here's a summary of the book. I'm like, It's not about what the summary of the book. What are your thoughts on what you experienced while reading the book?
Right.
That is what the book is. The book is the experience, not well, this is what happened. And boy, I can't believe that also happened. And then it's all right, so you went online, you read a summary. It's so obvious to know that's what's happening here.
Right.
And I just wish they would, Dukes, it seems so simple to me. And I can't figure out why it is difficult for people to do.
To make a full circle here before we start wrapping up, this is reminding me of how when they originally started making Final Fantasy XIV, they were like, well, we're not going to play other MMOs.
Right.
We're not going to play other MMOs first. How hard could it be?
I cannot stress this.
Which is still, oh my God, one of my favorite things ever.
I never played 1.0 of Final Fantasy 14, but lately I've been trying to put a video together and I've gone back. I'm not saying how, I'm not saying I have, I'm not saying I would, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. Definitely do not find a way to play 1.0. Don't do it,
Of course
kids.
not. No, you shouldn't do that.
But if I had,
that did
I would
happen.
tell you, it is one of the worst things I've ever seen. Like, it is bad. Like, bad.
Yeah.
Like, some of the choices are insane. And so it makes perfect sense when you watch the No Clip documentary when they're just like, yeah, no, we played a shit ton of Warcraft. And then we just went and made a better version of 1.0. And for as much as people crap on 2.0 as being kind of like, what the hell is what? I mean, like, it's fine, but it's not anywhere near the quality of the more recent expansions.
Sure. But if you know where they were coming from.
Holy shit, yes. The difference is incredible. So, and again, it's like, you just have to have experience with the thing. You just have to understand it. It's why you go to someone who is an expert in a field rather than to Jesse when talking about random shit. You know what I mean? Like, you want to go to someone who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Blows the mind, I guess.
It do. What should our homework be this week? We've talked about a lot of shows just now, and I'm trying to think if there's a show that was actually pretty good, but like didn't get as big as like Arcane, you know?
Okay, I will say this. I recently, on the recommendation of about 12 people, I wasn't gonna watch it because I was like, meh. X-Men 97.
Oh.
Sat down to watch it. It's the cartoon based off of the original like X-Men cartoon from the 90s.
Right. I haven't watched that
It literally
either.
takes place like it is the continuation of that. It's actually very entertaining.
Yeah?
It feels 90s, has like a real I don't want to spoil things. It starts kind of like, hey, it's the X-Men and we're back. And then gets so off the rails so quickly that I think I'm like 4 episodes in and I'm like, this is clearly created by people that, 1, appreciate the original show, 2, understand what X-Men is, and 3, are like, F it. There's no rails on this ride. Let's go nuts. And honestly, it's kind of fun. And I think some of the original old cast is back.
Nice.
And so like hearing them do it again is cute. It's very entertaining. I was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, but I did. And yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting ride. So I've heard the last episode is like one of those, how dare they make us wait till season 2 kind of things.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you love it. You love it and you hate it, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Like, it is still like 90s cartoon, 90s cartoon goofery. But it's fun. And I got to give it credit. It's like very entertaining.
Nice. As we slippy slide our way into outros, would you like to tell everybody about our new podcast situation? Is there a new podcast situation?
Oh, yeah. Hey, hi. So everyone's like, dude, where's the audio? I got to think, it's like, my wife loves listening to you, but you haven't updated.
I thought you were going to say my wife left me because you didn't. Sorry, keep going. Continue.
I mean, she's single. Let her know. Like, call me. So the podcasting service that we were using, for some reason, didn't send it to everything, only to select platforms. And so I had to move it. And then migrating it all over just took a while. First, we had to find a place. Then we had to make sure that we could like do stuff there and make sure it connected everything. And then migrate it all over. It has been completely migrated. We're good. We're fine. And now the plan is to release the back catalog 2 episodes a week. simply for algorithm reasons, just because if we dump a bunch of stuff on you, the podcast on services will be like, no one's watching this because it's like,
right,
there's too many
it's coming out
videos
too fast. Yeah.
So we're just gonna upload 2 a week until we catch up. So there you go. That's it. Expect more immediately.
Yeah. And if you like it, give us a little thumbie up or a heart or whatever the heck it is.
Yes. I was literally told, this is absolutely true. I was literally told by the service that sends it to everything. They were like, if you really want this thing to take off, have your people watching on YouTube go to these platforms, their favorite audio platform, leave a review, give it as many stars as they want. The answer is 5. Give as many stars as they want and leave a review.
Talk about how we saved your marriage.
Yeah, talk about how, because the podcast is up, you and your significant other finally experience true transcendent love that will last the ages. You can use that quote.
Yep.
And that's so it's there. It's what platforms? Hopefully everything now. Hopefully it's everywhere.
Hopefully anywhere that you listen to a podcast, it should be popping up. If that's not the case, I guess let us know. But it sounds like Jesse has done his due diligence trying to find the place that will get it to the most places. So
yeah, and don't be like, I'm in a small island nation, and the podcasting network that is here called like islandnation.fm does not have your podcast. That's not my fault. You can go there and you can submit it if you want. I won't hate you if you submit it to your small podcasting thing. I'm just saying, like all the major ones, it's definitely on it.
Right. Fantastic. And what is our updated release date for Gestalt?
July 16th. That should give you plenty of time to both do Elden Ring and Dawn Trail for those of you who are experiencing either of those. So the 16th of July. Yay. Get ready. Hope you enjoy. It is looking good.
Mm-hmm. Very excited. Thank you all very much for watching. Is there anything else, Jessup? Anything else you need to shout out? Any kisses you need to blow?
Hope you all have a great weekend. Remember that tomorrow is my birthday. So tomorrow, just tweet at me or whatever on social media. Tell me happy birthday. But don't mention that I told you now, because I will have forgotten. And I just want it to seem like you care. Okay,
like
so
everyone just
tomorrow,
naturally, organically remembers.
Naturally, organically.
Of course.
Send me love and support and tell me I'm awesome. But don't
maybe
remind
send
me
him
that
a
I
Mountain
asked
Dew.
You know what? I'll take that Mountain Dew. I will. I don't know that I'll drink it, but I'll take it. I will take it and open the cap.
Read the cap.
Sure.
And then and then certainly put the liquid somewhere.
Yeah, I will. The liquid will end up in a place. Yes, true.
Yes, absolutely.
So I don't want it in chat now. No, I don't want you to say happy birthday now.
Stop.
Or if you're on YouTube, don't say
tomorrow.
It down below. Wait till tomorrow and organically do it in a way that appears that I didn't try to bribe you on this show. I don't want the internet to think I'm like desperate or something.
Yeah. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next Friday. Maybe with a guest. That would be cool. And we blow you kisses. Bye.
Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders podcast. MegaRan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo. Another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, scream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.